Alright, it's been a while since I've done a video, guys. Had a lot going on, but instead of just doing another Beyond the Covers, which is what I was about to do, I decided to try to do something a little bit different. We're going to be looking inside these three again, but these ones that I've just been recently rereading, and I selected them because I'm in a kind of like celebratory state of my comic collecting. I don't know if that makes any sense, but things like comparing the great artists of the Marvel Silver Age, which is what I want to do right here, are really appealing to me right now. To be honest, I've gotten kind of selfish about my time and what I do with it as far as comics go. I've been reading like crazy, and I just would prefer to spend, an hour reading another couple comics rather than making a comic video. Or at least that's how it's been for me the past month or so. So that's why I haven't had as many videos. But we're going to go inside here and I'm going to show. These are just nothing incredibly special about these books. They're all great. Tales of Suspense, Tales of Astonish, those are both fantastic runs if you're talking about Silver Age, parts of it at least with Marvel. And just a fantastic Daredevil issue here, number 33. Daredevil with Gene Colan is just, the more I read and reread, he is so damn good, man. But I will get into comparing him to the other greats here. We're just going to do three of the big heavy hitters in a row here, and this is not by any means what I would say is their best work, but they're pretty consistent. Some of them, it's a little bit inconsistent as far as their work goes from title to title. I'll talk about that if it comes up, but they're pretty consistent, at least within the Silver Age as far as Gene Colan goes. And here we're going to be looking at Mr. Jack Kirby. Oh wait, no, got that backwards, sorry. Jack Kirby here, of course, with Captain America. And I'm going to be showing you the second story in here where Steve Ditko is working on this run here with Incredible Hulk. Let's get to it. All right, I'm going to start off here with my personal favorite. And that's the only reason I need, because it's my damn video, right? So, starting off with Daredevil, number 33. I decided I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to show you first just 10 pages of Daredevil with Gene Colan doing his thing, because it is just the freaking best, man. He doesn't get as much of the spotlight as some of the other artists from the Silver Age, but perhaps I'm now thinking with Daredevil becoming more of a household name as far as comic book collectors are concerned, with the mainstream Netflix action that's happening around him, and Hell's Kitchen in general with the other series. I don't know. Maybe Gene Colan has a chance of finally getting the recognition he deserves. That's my hope, at least. So 10 pages just to him. Then we're going to go page by page. Instead of doing one book at a time, we're going to compare each page at a time. So you can see a page of Colan, a page of Ditko, and then a page of Kirby. Then again, a page of Colan, next page of Ditko, next page of Kirby. I'm just going to keep going like that to really get the comparison going, so you can see the differences between what these artists brought to the table for Marvel, because it really was a combination of efforts, in my opinion, that made Marvel great, with Stan Lee at the helm, of course, but his foot soldiers, so to speak, were his artists in this takeover of the comic book industry that we call the Marvel Silver Age, basically, and I love the history of it, but I'm getting off track already. Let's get to the art. So there's page one here. Amazing, delicate strokes from Gene Colan with his penciling. So much amazing detail. And, with Gene Colan, his signature is attention to shadow and the way light falls on his characters. And you can see it very clearly if you're looking for it. He's a very recognizable artist, in my opinion, especially when you're comparing him to the rest of the bullpen at Marvel in the 60s. I mean, we're talking about some just fantastic, what's the right word for it? Jack Kirby is known for his big, bold action scenes, right? Ditko's known more for his idiosyncratic personalities and weird ways of drawing hands and faces and stuff that really makes him very unique. Gene Colan kind of gets just called a good artist, but I would give him more than that. I would say that he really focuses on different aspects of objects and people when he's drawing them. He really focuses on light and the shadows that they make just about every single time. You'll see him using at least a shadow here or there. And he's very unassuming with his drawing. He's not going to, usually take up a ton of space with any one particular aspect of a panel. He's going to try to be honest with his depiction, if that makes any sense. rather than putting a ton of panels in like this, which would be very common if we were talking about Kirby, right? With a lot of the big single objects kind of in V shape going towards the center. Gene Colan will usually have a lot more going on in each shot. And it takes a little bit more time to digest each panel from Gene. That's the best way I can initially describe it. But look, I've gone 3 minutes already. And you can see here, I'm not talking about the story at all, guys, but we've gone through 10 pages here of Daredevil now. And now we're going to start the part where I'm going to compare page by page each artist. Okay, so let's get here to the first page of Incredible Hulk, where Ditko is doing Hulk. And I really love this part of TTA, this run of TTA, where Steve Ditko was drawing the Incredible Hulk, if I can get to it. It's not hard to do with one hand. Okay, so I think the best way to do this is what? How am I going to have to stagger these? Maybe like that. Okay, now look at Ditko. His way of drawing the Hulk is so different from, say, Marie Severin or Kirby. A lot of artists actually took a crack on the Incredible Hulk during the Silver Age. But Ditko drew him with a special personality that was just, you know, signature Ditko, if you ask me. Doesn't get talked about as much, you know, because he's so closely associated with Spider-Man. Oops, I wasn't supposed to be going on to the next page yet, was I? Anyways, we'll show one more. He's so closely associated with Spider-Man that I hardly ever hear Ditko talked about as far as his Incredible Hulk work, but it's equally compelling. This story especially is cool because we got Russian communist backstory, which I always love. You can see there with the sickle. Okay, skipping over here to comparing that to our main hero, right? Mr. Jack Kirby. Ooh, flip right to it. Okay. Look at this. This is horrible. A bunch. Is just the centerfold? Yeah, just the centerfold is popped on that. It's so sad for me to see, but that's okay. This happens. Yeah, just that that top staple on the centerfold is popped, unfortunately. Anyways, so you go to Kirby, and look at the difference. You know, you see his work on the machinery, of course, here. Always getting into machinery is Mr. Kirby. And it's always very detailed when you talk about the machinery, but the people themselves and the action is usually what's taking center stage, right? The action. Big, bold strokes. You're almost always going to see some kind of explosion. In just about 1 out of every 10 Kirby panels, right? You can't go so many pages without seeing some kind of explosion. And everything he draws is distorted so that he can basically accentuate certain parts of the body, right? And sometimes it doesn't even make sense. If you look at the picture, it's not realistic. How he will make certain limbs longer or certain things smaller or bigger than they actually would be just to make the panel look cool. But as a comic book reader, we will more than happily accept some of those errors in drawing it realistically at, you know, as long as it comes with the added benefit of making it look cooler, right? Most of us would rather have a cool looking panel as long as it's not too ridiculous on the unrealistic scale. And we'll forgive some of the things like making his leg especially long here, right? So they can fit in this big fist that will draw your eye towards the very center of the panel, that kind of thing. We'll forgive that kind of thing because it just looks freaking cool, man. Go back to someone again like Gene Colan here on Daredevil. And here his panels are getting a little bit bigger because we're into the action sequence, but you can compare the difference, right? It's much more delicate. Much more delicate. And it's kind of like, to be honest, I've gotten to the point with my, with my Silver Age artists, where it's almost like different types of food, like something sweet or something salty. It's like, what do I feel like having at the moment? You know, do I want to have a kind of slow experience with the comic book where I really savor each panel? I'll probably go to something like Gene Colan's Daredevil here, or maybe Mr. Steve Ditko's Incredible Hulk. Both are usually incredibly detailed and take a lot of time to really appreciate if you want to get everything out of them that you can. Look at the leader here. Fantastic work of the leader, if you ask me, with Ditko drawing him here. He's really good, like I was saying on in my opinion, where he shines is drawing personalities, drawing faces, hands, things that basically add character to whatever character he's drawing, you know? Add character to a character. You get what I'm saying. I hope. Anyways, him here on Incredible Hulk, like I was saying, is kind of overlooked. Go back to Kirby. If you're getting tired of Ditko, here's a little more Kirby for you. Just good classic Captain America stuff here. I mean, you can never go wrong with Jack Kirby drawing Cap, right? It's just good, man. Look at this thing. This is one of the things that Kirby also does in a fantastic way, if you ask me, is he draws a focal point and has your eye drawn to it by everything in the panel. Everything in this panel is drawing your eye towards Cap there in the center. And I love the way that he does that. He basically will have lines, you know, just all heading in the same direction. And those kinds of shots are beautiful to me. You know, those are the kinds of things that can go beyond a comic book panel and can become wall art, iconic images, really. Something more than. And here you can see Cap's giving it to the... oh, I thought it was Russian communists, but it looks like it's Chinese communists in this one. My bad. Anyways, Cap's doing his duty for the country. And Kirby is, of course, drawing us more and more panels with machinery and what? Explosions. And again, this one has that focal point thing, right? With all of the lines in this panel are drawing your attention to Cap over there on the right. Everything's pointing that way. He's fantastic at that, man. The symmetry of it is extremely attractive and simple to digest. So, like I was saying, it's like different food groups, right? Do I feel like Kirby today? Do I feel like having some Ditko or some Gene Colan? Look at this. Every once in a while, Kirby will do something really special here. I'll take a little bit of extra time to draw the small details that aren't necessarily machinery. Like, look at the faces here. I mean, Kirby is freaking... There's a reason why he's the king, man. There is a reason why Kirby is the king. But, now I wonder if he would still want us calling him Kirby, or if he would want to be called Kurtzberg, like he was originally named, now that he's gone. I've wondered about that for a long time, because a lot of the reason... This is totally off track. Here, look at the rest of this Ditko here. I'll tell you about Kirby real quick. This was not my plan, but a lot of the reason why many artists and writers, including Stan Lee, took on pseudonyms and have kept them ever since in the comic book industry is because they were of Jewish descent. And there was still a lot of discrimination going on in the United States against Jews at that point in time. And they didn't want to jeopardize their careers by using their authentic Jewish names that would give away their religious heritage. Crazy craziness, huh? Look at this amazing Ditko, though, huh? Jesus. Ditko is fantastic, too. He's so quirky. Almost awkward in the way that he draws his characters, but they're just so interesting. Gotta keep looking at him for more than a couple seconds almost every time I look at it. Finish up here with the rest of Gene Colan on Daredevil, and that'll be it. That wasn't a very... I guess that wasn't a very substantive video, because it was more about the art than the stories. But, well, nah. I did my attempt at art analysis. Or reviewing the art in there, huh? For somebody who really knows jack shit about art. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. And you found what I said at least somewhat on point. Look at him here. Look at Gene Colan drawing Foggy Nelson here along with Karen Page. Man, so good. That angle, guys, is not from me holding the camera. That's the shot. That's the way it's drawn. Look at that panel. Love that. Love that panel. Oof. The way that Gene draws clothing with all the folds in it here really allows him to show off his ability in drawing shadows. Like I keep saying, that's one of the areas where he excels. Shoot, I gotta turn this page here. Put the camera down for one sec. There we are. Just gonna give you the last of it. You know, I think I'll stop right there, guys. You don't need to see the very end, do you? You might want to. I would want to if I were you. The very end of this Colan brilliance. Just look at... I'm gonna stop talking for the last 30 seconds. I'm just gonna let you look. How about that? Hope you've enjoyed the video. Different type of idea, more common to, or more similar to what I see a lot of you guys do actually, you know, looking at the art and stuff. It's a little bit different for me though, so I thought I'd try my hand at it. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, camera goes off, and now I will almost certainly go back to reading a comic book because I can't just flip through them without reading them. It's like teasing me, you know? All right, hope you enjoy, guys. Later on.